Hi and welcome to episode 61 of the This is Reportage podcast. My name is Alan Law, I'm the founder of This is Reportage and This Reportage family, and I'm a photographer too. Super to have the very lovely Chelsea Cannar on the podcast today. Chelsea is one of the best UK wedding photographers and was ranked in our top 100 worldwide list of 2020 with 4 Reportage Awards won in the year, one of which she tells us all about how she captured in this episode. I've had the pleasure of meeting Chelsea at a TiR Christmas Party, and it was lovely to catch up with her here. Stick with us today as Chelsea talks all about her military upbringing and living in a boarding school, taking chances with your photography whilst also having backup plans, a very tricky conundrum about what album she'd take to a desert island, how a chance encounter at work had a profound effect on her photography journey, super tips and insights on social media and why it's so important to be yourself, and much, much more. Thanks so much if you submitted to our first collections of the year, by the way. We had a record number of submissions on both our wedding and family sites, which was just really fantastic to see. Our judges are currently poring over the thousands of submissions. The results will be revealed within the next couple of weeks. Right, over to Chelsea. Hey Chelsea, how you doing?
Hi Alan, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, we're both giggling a bit there because I just messed up saying your name like twice in a row. How bad is that?
After talking like in detail about how to pronounce the surname, got the first name wrong.
Oh, that's so bad, isn't it? Yeah, we should have spoken about the first name. It's not like it's a difficult name to say. It's just
so funny. I do it all the time. I use names interchangeably at weddings and call people like completely the wrong name, and half of them just roll with it. Like they're so polite.
It's such a British trait, isn't it, to not pick up on people calling you the wrong name or something.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me today, talking to you. It's really nice. How are things with you? I don't know why I said it in that such long way then, but yeah, how are things with you?
That's fine. He's trying to drag out the content. I understand. No, I'm fine, thank you. It's at the minute it's not too bad. My other half works away like 2 months on, 2 months off. So at the minute with this lockdown and over Christmas, he's been back home.
That's nice.
And he goes back on Wednesday. So after then I don't know.
Oh yeah, and there'll be a whole 2 months without him, then
yeah. I've only had 2 weddings postponed this year. One of them was supposed to be in January, so that one wasn't surprising. But then hopefully that'll be rescheduled while he's away. She's very keen to get married. Thank God.
Yeah, I get that. And what was last year like for you in general? I mean, before we go on to the negativity of last year, I want to start with the positive of last year. Is that, congrats for ranking in our top 100 photographers worldwide, which is an incredible achievement, honestly, with 4 Reportage Awards won. It's so difficult to win one. But yeah, that's a little positive. But I mean, I guess, how was 2020 in general for you?
So yeah, that was a high for me. Managed to squeeze into the end of that list there, so I was quite
great.
Like my goal for last year was like set these little personal goals. I'm sure everyone does. I was like, if I can get one, I'll be quite happy. And then they just kept going, and I was like, woohoo!
It's like buses.
Yeah. But in general, last year was just like a whirlwind, weird year. Like. I think it was really going to be like my first year doing like more weddings as my job. Right. So I ended up pushing quite a lot of them back, obviously, as like everyone did. But I still managed to do like maybe 10. I think it was about that.
10 all big major weddings or like small COVID weddings?
Like, mostly all small ones. Like I totally doubled down on my I think I like advertised a deal for like 3 hours. So I got a lot of like new bookings almost from that. And then a lot of my couples, they were quite chill about it anyway. Like quite a lot of them were like, we're going to have a smaller day anyway, so we'll just downsize it and it'll be okay.
Oh, I mean, doing 10 is pretty good. Yeah, I only shot 2 the whole year, which is
I feel like I would just panic. I would feel like even the small ones I did, I was like, I don't know if I can swear, I was like crap, I forget.
You can swear. No, it's fine. Yeah, you can swear. As adults, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, cool. But then aside from that, obviously, like I said, my other half works away at sea, but he ended up being on. So I was in the process of I was living with my parents at the time. I'd come out of a relationship the year before, sold a house, and was living back with them for a bit because I'd gone self-employed, and I was like, I can't do anything, with no man's land.
Oh yeah.
But then really that was kind of a blessing because there was a lot of pressure off for finances when a lot of this hit.
That's true.
And then Louis was away. He ended up being away for 4 months. I didn't see him for because of COVID. And I was waiting in the middle of that, we were going to move I was moving to Liverpool. So that was all on hold. Then all the weddings were on hold. And just planning for the future in general was just on hold. So
it's so true, isn't it? It's like life is, as you say, it's been put on hold.
Yeah.
Mental. Did you say he works away at sea?
Yeah, so he's in the Merchant Navy, which is not the Navy.
Okay, cool.
Just navigates a ship. It's
wow.
A lot more than that, but
that sounds cool though. But that must be tough being so much away from each other as well. And what a year. And so you said it was going to be one of your first kind of big major year for weddings as well. So that must have been even more kind of disappointing then.
Yeah, I was a bit kind of between stuff because I'd wound down my I sort of outpriced myself from a few freelance design jobs because I was like, well, I'll take on more of a split towards weddings. So I was sort of suddenly without work on both sides because I'd wound down, so I had time for the weddings.
Oh,
then the weddings didn't happen. But like I say, luckily I was back at like every adult wants to be. I was back with my parents for lockdown.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. That's a delightful situation. But in a way, I guess it was nice because otherwise it's hard to actually see your family during this time if you're not actually in their kind of bubble living with them, really.
Yeah, 100%. It was sort of a blessing because they took on I've got a niece and a nephew, and due to some family things, they had to come round and stuff. And then my sister was one of my sisters. I've got 3 little sisters.
Oh, really?
But I saw quite a lot of my family because of childcare reasons and the fact that I lived back at home with my mum and dad who were the childcare people. So in that sense, it was really nice to not be alone.
I get that. Yeah. I can't imagine what it's been like for some people who are literally living alone and maybe just in little flats as well, that only on outdoor space as well. It's everyone is just in such different circumstances, and it's just been anyway mental. Anyway, let's go off. This year is going to be more hopeful for this year. More hopeful.
Fingers crossed. I'm optimistic, but I try not to think about. I don't know if it's a bury your head in the sand attitude, but I'm well, I'll deal with the problems if they arise. I didn't really send out the reassurance emails to my couples or anything because I thought I just didn't want to tempt fate. I was I'll wait till people come to me, and I don't want to scare people. I was what if somebody's thinking about going ahead anyway, and then I accidentally push them into postponing or.
I totally get that. I'm the same as you. I didn't do those. I did that as well. I totally get that. And I think just for me, just staying off social media as much as possible. And there's little groups where a lot of wedding photographers just talking with each other and it's so doom and gloom. And maybe they're right, but it just doesn't help my state of mind. So I think just not being in that kind of discussion is generally better for me.
And I don't I find it interesting to see. And then because obviously, it is hard reading, especially when I was saying out. Luckily, on the finance side, I didn't have to deal with too much of a stress, but definitely seeing a lot of people that I know with the kids and the mortgages, and I was just like, oh, it's just hard reading, even just seeing other people struggle, like you say.
Definitely. Oh, anyway, let's change tack, Chelsea. And I said your name there correctly without any hesitation. So I read on your bio that you had a military upbringing and lived in places such as Germany and Cyprus, and then went to boarding school, which all sounds very exotic and exciting. So yeah, can you tell us a bit more about that? And then how you came to be a photographer? What was your journey?
That's why it's just on there to make me sound like an interesting, exotic person.
It does sound really exotic, that though. It's cool.
It's just totally normal to me. Like my dad was in the army in the REME, and I was born in Salisbury, but I don't think I've ever been technically a southerner with a northern twang. And yeah, so we used to move around every 2 years. We did Germany quite a lot. I think there's a lot of army bases in Germany.
Okay.
A few places in England, and then when we were in Cyprus, I was about 9, I think.
Nice.
And what the army do, if you're in the army, they pay for 90% of your fees if you want to go to boarding school.
Okay.
Obviously, for a lot of children, once you sort of get into secondary school age, to be moved around every 2 years is quite disruptive or considered disruptive to your education. So,
yeah.
So I think when I was 10 or whatever, I don't know the exact ages, but I came over here. I came over to England with my mum, and we went and looked at schools. It's just surreal, thing. And so you go to. Then I picked Keswick because it was pretty. I don't think I'd ever seen all the hills and stuff before.
Oh, nice, yeah. It's
really nice. And coming from Cyprus at the time to I think it was winter when we came to visit, and there was all snow on the fells and stuff, and it was the one that felt most like home.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we used to live in the boarding house, and then you just go to school like normal, and then you just live at school.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Was it cool? Did you enjoy it? Was it fun?
It's fun so I would say up until year 9. I don't know what age that is again, but
what is that? That's about 14. Is it 15? Yeah. Is it no?
You might be up until 14 when you start to want to be in Britain, the youth culture is go to the park and have a few drinks with your friends.
That's true. Could you do that at all?
You what, sorry?
Could you do that at all? Were you allowed out and stuff?
Supposed to, but we had all these tricks. If you said you were going to the cinema on a Friday, you were allowed to come back whenever the film ended.
Oh, nice.
So we all used to say we were going to the cinema, and you just walk around hanging out. This is really interesting until the headmistress like waited outside of the cinema one night and like literally ticked off a list of everyone who came out.
Oh no.
who said they were going, actually went to the film.
Oh, that's funny.
We all had to, like, write lines. You get like grounded at school. It's weird.
And oh no, it's good. It's really, I find it really interesting. What was the food like? Is it good food at like boarding school?
No, it's awful. It's just it's just like, imagine going to literally to the canteen for your breakfast, and then back to the school cafeteria even for lunch, just normal school stuff. And you get this special little plastic card. So instead of like paying for your dinner, you hand over like a special border card. And then...
Oh, do they have some non-borders as well?
Oh, yes, because it's like, I can't remember it's not that big of a school, but it's like 40 people in the boarding house. And then it's a public school with a boarding house attached.
Okay, cool.
So you've got
I just imagine it being like Harry Potter, really.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah.
You want the Weasleys if it was Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, because you're a ginger, aren't you? You're ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
But no, it's just bizarre. You're just in school the whole time. Like say you go back up after school's finished, you go back to the boarding house, and then you go back to school and you eat your dinner in the canteen, and then you go back to the school library to do your homework for an hour.
Yeah, it must be full on. It must
It's
be
weird, yeah. But
How long were you at that school for then?
so I was there. So I was about 16. The last year, my dad came out of the army, so my parents sort of like scraped together the last term's worth, bless them. And I travelled like an hour every day. They moved to Carlisle because it was close to my dad's last place that he lived, or that he was like posted in the army, was Catterick Garrison. So that's quite close to Carlisle, which is why they ended up there. And I just used to travel like an hour every day to get to school for the last term.
Gosh, what, like 2 hours, like an hour there and an hour back every day?
Yeah.
Wow, that's hardcore.
Yeah, but luckily it was like just before GCSE. It wasn't very long. And then I went to live in Carlisle back with my mum and dad, and I went straight to the art college. Did like your A-level equivalents, I guess.
Was that in photography, or did you do graphic design or something? What did you do?
Yeah, so I did. So for the A-level equivalents, they were just like art and design, just like literally general everything. We did like a bit of dressmaking, and they tried to get us to jewelry making, and we did like, I think they're like the find yourself courses basically to figure out what you want to do your degree in.
Yeah.
But I had no idea. By the time my degree rolled around, like my tutors were the ones that were like, you should go for that and you should go for that. And I was like, okay, whatever, as long as I'm doing something creative, like it'll be okay. I did apply for the photography course, but I don't know. I thought with like graphic design, it's like master of all trades. I don't know if that was like naive, but I thought to myself, oh, a graphic designer, and I say I want to take photos, people will do it. Or if I say I want to illustrate, people will be like, okay, cool. Whereas I thought if I put myself on the photography degree, I'm like closing too many doors.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And that's probably true, isn't it? A graphic design, everyone needs graphic designers. So yeah, that makes sense. So then how did you go from the graphic design to wedding photographer?
Yeah, so the photography was something that I kept doing, even though I did the graphic design degree, and I did a lot of it like commercially for the graphic design, because I don't know, it's like a control thing. But I knew when I was doing brochures and stuff, I just knew what I wanted the pictures to look like, or like I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then I could have like control over the whole thing, the look of the whole thing.
Proper control freak.
But then, so I did one for a friend. Oh no, wait. So when I was on my degree, I did have a job in like nightclub photography. I was like the local club photographer, but not like you walk about girl who hangs out the key rings and stuff. Just like the grotty indie club who want like drunk pictures to show everyone how fun it is to go there.
Yeah, I get that. That's cool. Was that quite fun? That must have been quite a fun job.
I loved it. I met so many people, and the great thing about it was all those people like grew up eventually and worked in big companies who needed designers and photography.
That's handy, yeah.
So it's like a subconscious networking thing, but I just used to love it. I just loved having a party as a student.
Yeah.
It was like a night out for me. It's like a free night out, but then
sounds good.
You get to like harass people with your camera.
Oh, I miss those nights now as well. Just thinking about clubbing or rock nights in general. Gosh, man, it's been a long time already.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I went on a night out.
I used to love, when we lived in Manchester, I used to go to Rock World, Julie's Rock World.
I feel like I've been there and I've been to, is it Satan's Hollow?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Been there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, after like a gig or something.
Yeah, good times.
But I realised I've gone completely off track from my story of how I got into...
Oh yeah, how did you get your first wedding and stuff?
Yeah, so then I ended up, because I've always been handy with the camera and I've always been the camera pest on a night out, or it was only a matter of time before, as somebody said, will you shoot my wedding, because they're trying to save money.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I hated it, and it was I just did. I'd never really seen wedding photos other than like wedding photos. So I did exactly what I thought I should do. And I was so frustrated because it didn't look how I thought it should look. And I didn't know what I was like trying to shoot. And I just cobbled it together, and like they were happy and it was fine. But I was like, that was stressful.
Yeah, I get that. Are you still friends with them?
No. For different reasons.
Oh, okay.
That's funny. I know, that's funny. But so then I sort of like dropped it, and I was like, right, tried that, not interested, whatever. And then a few years later, I was like, well, maybe I could do it again. Like maybe if I like learn a bit more about it. And I went and did a few more like second shooting, and I was like, I don't really. Sorry, I'm fiddling. You told me not to.
That's funny.
Okay, yeah. So,
definitely keeping that in. That's good.
God. Yeah, so and then I was still like, oh, I don't really know. I'm not really sure. And yeah, so then a few years later, when I was working at like a small design agency, and we did a website, and we did a lot of design work for one of like the really good local photographers. And she came in and she was speaking to my boss, Gemma. So the photographer's name is Helen Whitaker, and she's like amazing. But anyway, she came in and she was asking if we knew anybody who was handy with the camera, that she really needs some help. And so everybody instantly was like, Chelsea really good. Chelsea can come along. Chelsea will be there. And I was, obviously I'd like resigned to the fact that wedding photography wasn't for me at this point. So I was like, oh, I don't really know, Helen. Like I'll maybe come. I'll do like one or two of you if you need the help, and you know, until you can find someone sort of attitude.
Yeah.
And I went with. She was lovely, so that's why I kind of wanted to help her. But she was the first person to sort of show me that wedding photography could be was interesting.
Okay.
She put it in a way that was like interesting for me, because she turned it into like not like a game, but like it became more of like an observational like thinking exercise. When she was showing me about the documentary and the like learning to anticipate stuff, and it just captured, like just hit this little spark in me.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I second shot with her for like maybe a year. And she was really good, and she like sat with me all the pictures that I did like a good job on, and like the reasons why they were good, and what
that's really nice.
Weak at, and what I could do more of. And she used to set me little tasks and be like, right, you're only using the 25mm, the 24mm today.
That's cool.
And I want you to aim to get this, or like aim to put people in shapes, or so she turned it into a proper thinking thing for me. And
that's really cool.
Yeah.
What year was that then, when you were doing that kind of year of second shooting?
I feel like that was like maybe 2017.
Yeah, cool. Wow, you're really quite fresh to this, which is really cool. You've done so well already.
Yeah, I know.
Awesome.
That's why I feel like I'm just like, what is happening? Why are you asking me to do? Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh no, you're so good though, Chelsea. It's so good. It's really cool. So then, that was like a kind of like a fate kind of encounter then, really. I wonder if she hadn't come into that agency and asking for help, I wonder if you would have ever got into this then.
I wouldn't. Honestly, it was like, but then at the same time, like, I said yes to the opportunity. So, but she really did change like the course of my my career, so to speak.
That's very cool.
And she was really supportive supportive in like other ways. She was really supportive in like sending like lower price bookings across if she couldn't do them, or
that's cool.
putting my name forward for like recommendations for small jobs for venues and stuff. I know, of course, really nice. Like having somebody back you is a big thing, you know, somebody recommending you. Yeah, I don't know, it's nice.
Yeah, very cool. And I guess then with your graphic design knowledge as well, it helped creating your own website and things. Did you do that then quite soon after starting second shooting for her? And how did you start it yourself?
I put it off for ages, because even though I was really into the photography, I was like, oh, I wanted to use it. So with the graphics, it's like it's freelance, but you don't know where the work's coming from. You can't like plan for it. You don't know. Jobs go on for ages. Like cash flow can be a bit of a weird thing. So I thought to myself, like, oh, if I do maybe like 8 to 10 weddings a year, I've got this little base of income that leaves me open to doing like other stuff. But then the bookings just kept coming, and then people were like, we really want to recommend you for work, but we can't recommend you until you've got a website. So I like begrudgingly sort of cobbled together a website, which just seems like it should be something that I would enjoy doing. But I think like like a lot of photographers are saying they don't pick up the camera unless it's for work. But I think a lot of graphic designers like avoid doing their own work because it's always like the least interesting, or
that so makes sense.
Too much. You're never happy. You're always like fussing.
I bet.
In the end, I just used Pixie Set because I had my galleries with them. And I just thought having like the templates were really nice, and I just thought having structure there already will stop me spending longer on this than I need.
That makes sense. Yeah. And with your graphic design skill, and now have you been able to kind of go back into doing a bit of that during this, horrible COVID times? Have you done that at all?
Yeah, definitely. So I did. I actually did David Studd's SEO course, which was really good. Spent a lot of time like rewriting my copy and looking at like tightening things up, and just thinking about how I wanted to present myself as a photographer. I just wanted something really like looking at the pictures and seeing how everything flows together, and sorting out my pricing pages, and I definitely think because I did a lot of work on that, put my prices up, partly because I won some awards, so I was like,
yeah, go do it.
do it. So I was like, right, if I'm putting that up, I need to look like I've got my shit together.
Yeah, makes sense. And the site looks great. The site looks really good though. Proper fresh, modern. It's cool.
Well, I definitely just didn't want it to look like girly. Not that there's any problem with that, but I just don't think that's not my like client base. So I was like, I just want it to look clean and modern.
Yeah, and it definitely does. It's really cool. It's a really cool site. That's so cool. Interesting hearing about your journey into this. I love that. Let's change tack slightly. No, let's change tack. Do you watch much Netflix?
Yeah, I'm so bad. So it sounds really bad, but I like background noise. I don't know if it's because having like lots of sisters and then being in like this boarding school and being like, I just can't really sit in silence. So I often have a screen to the side and I'm watching TV while I'm like editing pictures or doing work. Like I've got Netflix on constantly.
Well, that's cool. I totally get that as well. That's perfect as well, because for this kind of like new year of podcast episodes, I'm just doing a little kind of Netflix synopsis quiz where I'm just going to read out a little synopsis from a movie or a series, and I'm going to see if you can name what it is.
Watch me fail at all of them. After saying that, go for it.
No pressure. And yeah, hopefully it's just fun for people to play along with at home. And anyway, yeah, I find it fun, so I'm gonna do it. So okay, first one, Chelsea. Okay, this is a synopsis. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. In 2019, a local boy's disappearance stokes fear in the residents of Winden, a small German town with a strange and tragic history.
Oh, is that dark?
It is nice. Yes. Boom. Right in. Have you watched it?
Watched it because it's all in subtitles yet, but I've like looked into whether it's worth watching.
Oh, it's so good. It's honestly, it's the best. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's amazing. Yeah.
I feel like it's something I need to give like my actual attention to. So things like that, I definitely like save to watch. Like,
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, with the subtitles, you can't really be editing, and you'd have no clue what's going on. Yeah, but it's good that you got it and you haven't even watched it, so that's really cool.
I know.
But yeah, I massively recommend it. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's so good, so good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, 1 out of 1 so far. Let's go on to number 2. Okay, this is a film, just to say. Okay, an engaged young couple discovers that the more they get to know each other, the more unpredictable their commitment to getting married becomes.
Oh, I don't know. I want to say 5-year engagement, but
Did you say 5-year engagement?
yeah.
You are right.
Nice.
That's very good. I've never seen it either. I just thought it's quite a good kind of like wedding related one to read out. Have you seen it?
It's quite funny.
Is it good? Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to watch that. Well, 2 out of 2. So this is good. This is good. Okay. You ready for a third?
Okay, go.
Okay. This is a series. Daphne debuts on London's marriage market as a new gossip sheet sets high society at Twitter, and Simon, the eligible Duke of Hastings, returns to town.
Bridgerton.
Nice. Have you watched that?
Watched that.
Have you watched? Yeah, you have watched it. Yeah, is it good?
Yeah. It's I was a bit like, what is this dross at first? And like it is a little bit, but it's fun. It's fun dross. It's easy to have on in the background because it's just.
I watched the first half of the first episode and I quite liked it, but only my wife didn't like it, so yeah, didn't watch it anymore. But other people have said it's good. So.
Yeah, I feel like she should keep on with it. Like once it, obviously everyone loves it, it gets a bit steamier. So.
Oh, okay, that's always good. That's always good. I'm going to tell her. Okay, last one. This next one is one of my very favourite films. So let's see if we can go for 4 out of 4. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is silly, but it's fun. Okay. While struggling to endure his tightly wound wife, an unfulfilling job, and a surly teen, a man becomes obsessed with one of his daughter's friends.
Oh, is that American Beauty?
Yes, boom! It's so good, Chelsea. 4 out of 4. That is awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, this is my achievement of the year now, and really, I feel like if no one else beats me, I need a little badge to put on my
Definitely,
page.
you got to put it on your website. I love American Beauty. Have you seen that? Yeah.
It is so good, but I just like it's one of those things that I think soiled a bit by what happened with Kevin Spacey. But the film itself is so good. Like I love stuff like that.
It's so true, isn't it? That kind of what you say about Spacey there. It's funny. I was watching just another Netflix series last night, which is really good. That Pretend It's a City. It's just come out. It's like a documentary talking to Fran Lebowitz. And
yeah, I've seen the ads for it crop up. It's on my list. I can't tell whether like she'll drive me insane.
Oh, she's so interesting. Yeah, you should watch it. Honestly, she's so interesting and so funny. But she talks about that and that kind of separation when people like reading novelists from people who have done really bad stuff, and that she can totally separate it. She can still enjoy those things and separate what they've done in their personal life, but it's different for everyone. It's hard, isn't it? It's a difficult thing.
I don't know. I do struggle a bit with it. So there were obviously like a while ago with like bands, there was all these stories coming out of how like horrible they were with groupies and stuff, and the guy from Brand New, I don't know if you listen to
that's actually one band I know. We do like similar music, but that's one band I've not listened to actually. I should do.
They're really good, but he was in a bit of the naughty corner for a bit, so I didn't really listen to them for a few years. But I think it's easy to forget with time and then look at it more objectively, like look at them as like their work as a separate thing, but it is hard.
Totally. I totally get that. I remember I loved the first Lost Prophets album, and obviously,
Uh,
and that was just awful. Yeah.
Awful. I knew someone that had a Lost Prophets tattoo.
Oh
So when that
no.
came out, I was like, that they were the first person I thought of, and I was just like, you're gonna have to black. It was quite big as well, so you're gonna have to black out your entire like that section of the leg because I don't think they could have gone over it.
Oh no, that's the worst. That is the worst. That is. Oh, I was on the subject of music actually, so that's a good one. The little segue. A totally original question here, but obviously it's not. If you're cast away on a desert island, what one album would you take with you?
Ooh.
It can't be like best of 2020 or something.
Best of woman who loves who loves all sorts.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
I know this is where you had out the pause, isn't it? And like frantically for which albums. I don't. It changes like year to year, so and it depends on like it changes on mood. But like last year, I don't know if I'm like in a to toss up between like a Phoebe Bridgers one possibly, but then also like that first Arcade Fire album is one of my like favorites.
That's another band I've never really listened to actually. You should do.
It's just like things that are very emotive. I don't know which one would it be.
I love the pressure. Everyone's at home thinking, which one, Chelsea? Which one?
I don't fucking know.
What was it like? Did you have a seminal album of your youth, or your teenage years,
Well, according to the Spotify like decade wrapped thing, it was one of those. There was the Coheed and Cambria that were like up at the top.
Oh, that's cool.
I know. I feel like they reflect. For me now, that's like it's like a memory of like youth rather than something I like enjoy constantly now.
Oh, that's funny because only literally yesterday I was listening to a Coheed album by walking my dog. I don't remember the name of it. I never can remember the names of the albums because they always have like really long titles. But it's
ridiculously named albums.
Yeah, but I think was it In Keeping Secrets? Yeah, In Keeping Secrets. I don't know, 4 or whatever it was. I was listening to that yesterday. I've seen them live a few times. They're so good though. They're so good.
So tight, like they're so good. Claudia's got that ridiculous like double guitar as well.
Yeah, it's proper cool.
Some of the songs, but yeah, they're really. I saw them support Deftones once, and I think that was a really good gig.
I bet that was an awesome gig. Yeah, I've seen Deftones a few times. Deftones and Coheed on the same bill. It was cool.
Yeah, I know. And I went to a music festival once, and they like co-headlined with Thrice, which are another one of my.
Yeah, that was a band I never really listened to much. Which festival was that? Was it Leeds or something? Or?
It was called Heavy, and it was like it was in Kent, I think. It was like at an animal park, so you could go actually like get heavy rock music, and then you sleep in your tent. Then you can get up and you can go to the zoo.
That sounds perfect. That sounds
it's bizarre, but it worked.
That's cool.
But yeah, I don't know. Favorite album to take. I'm just gonna say that. Arcade Fire. I can't remember what it's called, the first one.
That's good. The one album that you're going to take away, you don't actually know the name of. I like it.
Oh no, stop it! No, I'm changing it. I'm not doing that. I'm going to take the Stranger in the Alps by Phoebe Bridgers.
Oh, I don't have a clue what that is.
It's a good one. It's her debut album, but it's really nice.
Okay. I will allow you to have that on your desert island.
Thank you.
You're safe from COVID though on that desert island.
I'm going to die from sunburn first on a desert island anyway. There's not a lot of time to listen to music.
It's funny. Cool. Let's go back to your photography, Chelsea. One of your specific reportage awards that I think is just brilliant. It looks to be from a COVID wedding, and you've shot it kind of like through is it the groom's legs? I think it's the groom.
It's with the groom's legs.
And you can see the bride who looks to be entering, to me, looks to be entering the ceremony room, I think. It's such a cool, unusual, dynamic composition. I think it's so great. Can you tell us more about that shot?
Yeah, so I'd seen a while ago, because I'm always like looking at everyone else's work, obviously, like everybody is. And I'd seen like a first dance shot through someone's legs, and I thought that's really cool. That's like, I'd love to do something like that, but the opportunity, it just has to be the right moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was in the ceremony room, and I've been in. Luckily it's one I've been in like quite a few times. So I knew the only way to getting the bride coming in. It's not like the most interesting. There's a fire exit sign like right above the door, and the lights like to the side, and then I could see like the groom like where he was stood, and I was like, oh, there's a bit of a gap in between his like legs, and I was like, if I just line this up, I was like, maybe I could block the fire exit sign.
Clever. Yeah.
So I just took a punt because I thought, like, if she comes in, sometimes people walk in front of them. Do you know what I mean? I was like, if this doesn't work, I'll try and get her coming in through the legs. Pray to God he doesn't move. Pray to God somebody doesn't stand in the way. And then I thought, if I don't get it, I can just stand up really quickly and get some pictures of her coming in on like the wide angle that was on my other. So I think that was like 35 mil, maybe shot that on, and then a wider one. So I had like a backup, but sometimes you just have to take a bit of a punt on a shot if you have it in your head.
I totally agree with you. I think that's the thing that can separate just normal good coverage to the outstanding captures, really. It's being brave as well and going for it. And as you said as well, you had a backup in your in plan as well if it didn't happen. So yeah, it's really cool. Really, really cool. Yeah, very cool. And how many people were actually at that wedding? Was it a really small guest list then?
Yeah, that was, I think that was just a 15 one. It was just families. They booked me for like a really cool, I'm really excited for their wedding. They'd like renovated a barn at home instead of, they thought rather than paying money for like a venue, because it's quite rural Cumbria, they'd bought this farmhouse, and they thought, oh, we'll renovate our own barn at home and have people over. So it didn't go ahead in the end, and they scaled it back, and they were like, oh, we'll have our ceremony and we'll party later. And then, yeah, they booked a party for a date that I couldn't do it.
Oh no!
I know, I was gutted. So they're such a nice couple as well. Instead, I was like, well, I'll take you up a hill. Like, you know, I've got all this time and all this stuff to shoot. I was like, let's get out into the lakes. And
that's nice.
She said her family owned like farmland, and what we did, we went up the hill where her mum's favourite walk is, and where her mum's ashes are scattered and stuff. So it was just nice, and it allowed me to take some pretty portraits.
Oh, that's cool though. That's cool. Do they also know that like that image, the through the legs shot? I don't know if I should call it the through the leg shot, but you know what I mean. Do they know that that's like being awarded and things?
Yeah, they love it. They're just like, I just think people, if it's something on you like a bit different like that, they're quite proud that it's like from their day. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
But yeah, she follows me quite actively on like social media, and she found me on, I think she messaged me on Facebook originally, so she'd seen it and she was like, I love it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. It's such an awesome capture, honestly. It is really cool, because I think it's one of those big elements, you know, like first kiss or walking down the aisle, those big moments. If you can capture those big things differently, like you've done there, it's brave, and it's just, yeah, really, really awesome. It's really cool.
I think it's a little bit like you say, it's just like some of it's experience of knowing the room, and then you can just plan for what didn't go right last time, or take a shot on something different. If you've like seen something and you think, oh, it would be really cool if that happened. I mean, it doesn't usually happen. But if you know that it could happen, then you're always sort of like watching out for it.
That's so true. Yeah, it's so true. No, it's super stuff. And anyone's listening now whilst doing your daily exercise or doing the pots. I always listen to podcasts while doing the pots. I know my wife hates me using the phrase doing the pots, but that's what it is to me. I don't know why. It's doing the pots. But anyway, yeah, head to thisreportage.com and I'll include that Reportage Award that Chelsea just spoke about there. You just mentioned also, Chelsea, about social media there and how that bride follows you and things. What is your kind of like love affair with social media? Do you love it, hate it? It sounds like you love it and you seem really good at it. How do you get on with it?
Yeah, I'm particularly like I don't think I'm a particularly like shy person. I do get nervous, but I'm not too bothered about like showing my face. And I forced myself. I started forcing myself to put a picture on every day.
Right. And is this on Instagram or Facebook or both?
On Instagram, I'm sort of I'm over Facebook a little bit, to be honest with you. Facebook is like an afterthought for me at the minute because I don't think my audience is. I never really. I don't know what I'm saying now.
No, that's good. Well, that makes sense. Do you think that maybe your kind of clients and your kind of market are more use Instagram more?
I think so, yeah. But I started putting on a picture every day, like forcing myself to just put out content, and people started saying to me, people who I know, not like clients and stuff, but they were like, oh, you look so busy with weddings and you look so like, you look this and you look that. And I thought to myself, well, it's just another thing like having a good website that it's not tricking, but like it's this impression that, like you say, I haven't been doing it that long. So it was like putting out content as if when I started, it was as if I had more weddings than I had.
Oh, that's totally great business sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Totally.
And then sort of getting over that fear of having your photos judged and stuff. And is this photo good enough to be on? And is this photo going to get that many likes? I was like, if I'm just consistent and I put something on and it becomes part of like my daily routine, then it's, the hardest thing is thinking of a caption.
Yeah.
But I don't mind engaging with people on social media, and I just see it as another tool to showcase your work. And I think people think you disappear if you're not active on it. People think that you've just stopped working. You've just stopped doing weddings.
That is so true. Yeah, and it's so true that to be consistent is so important. And that's something that I've let slip with kind of my own photography, because we're doing this reportage family. I'm really active on those. And then I have a lot less time for my own photography. So I've let that slip. But yeah, it totally makes sense to be consistent. Yeah. And as you say, people probably do think that you just, especially in these times, if you stop posting, they probably think you've just, gone under maybe. So
they don't do it on purpose, but people just forget you exist. If that makes sense, when you're like, but if you put yourself subconsciously at like the forefront of like people's minds, then they'll always remember. They think you're working. I don't know how to describe it.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, and it's so true. And it's so important. And not only are you showing your consistently great work as well, though, I mean, you really good, I think, at showing your personality on social media, which is, I think, probably the most important thing about social media, really. And yeah, because you do loads of like Instagram stories and things as well. Do you find, do you have clients who mention stuff that you put in your stories and how they, I don't know, how your personality comes across and things?
Yeah, I get quite a lot of people sort of, it's usually if I put up anything that's a bit like funny or something, I don't know, something about myself, and you get a lot of people like engaging with like, oh, I like that, or I like that. And I always encourage couples when they book me to add me on social media, like in like a friend sense, because I just think it breaks down those barriers of accessibility. You can very easily. When I was a teenager, I had loads of friends that I had met online but never met in real life. It sounds stupid, but it makes you feel like someone's someone, even if you've never met them. And I think people hire people. So you're doing yourself a disservice if all you're showing is your pictures.
Totally agree. I totally agree. I think it's so important. And do you like second guess yourself though? Like when you're thinking in an Instagram story, do you think, oh, maybe, I don't know, should I put this up? Should I not? Or are you just like, this is me, I'm just going to put up whatever, I'm just interested.
I like second guess myself all the time. Not just like everything, but you have to put that to one side. Like even you asking me to come, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to say something stupid or do something, I don't know, ridiculous at a wedding. But the more you are yourself, the less you have to pretend to be someone else. And often pretending is more exhausting than just letting people like you for who you are. You know what I mean? Like the more I am on my like social media feed or the Instagram stories or whatever, if somebody is not engaging with that, then I'm not the person for them.
Totally.
It's such a personal thing. Like if they don't think that we'd be friends in real life, then I probably shouldn't be coming to their wedding.
Yeah, that's so true though. It's so true. I'm 100% with you there. 100% with you. It's not like we don't need to appeal to 100% of brides and grooms. We just need, well, I don't know, well, everyone's situation is different, but you need like, I don't know, 20, 25 just couples who just dig what you do and dig who you are as well. And those are the people that we want to shoot for. And then it means we end up everyone's happy then.
Well, exactly. You can't, like, even your work can't appeal to everybody. If you appeal to everybody, you appeal to nobody, really. Like
that's true.
Obviously, I'd rather people like engage with me on social and like liked me as a person. Everyone wants to be liked, but I no longer take it as personally. I think if I'm not someone's cup of tea,
yeah,
as well.
That's cool. That's such a good attitude.
Who really book you, they love you. Do you know what I mean? They're like, it has to be you, or we looked at everyone else's work and you stood out to us.
Yeah. That's so good. It's so good. Cool. That was such a good segment. I love that. You did some great quotes there about not pretending to be. It's more exhausting to be someone else as well, rather than just being yourself. I think that's awesome. So yeah.
I know. I sound like a self-help book. Or...
No, it's all good. It's really, really good. I think people find that really interesting to listen to as well. Because I think maybe a lot of wedding photographers or family photographers as well, they want to do more on social media, me included, and show more of their personality. But it can just be a bit daunting and a bit scary to kind of start doing it. It's making that jump and trying not to think, how people, if they're going to be judging you and not caring if they don't like what they see really anyway.
Yeah, I try not to ask too many people's opinions because I find that makes me second guess myself more. Like if I'm open to it, like obviously if I'm showing someone like whose work I admire, my portfolio, I'm like looking for feedback, I'm like receptive to it. But day to day, I just tend to think, what do I want to do? I'm a bit selfish, actually.
No, it's not selfish. It's not selfish. I think that's good, really good. Otherwise, you can become too influenced by other people, and then your work or everything about your business can be too generic. If you just listen to everybody, I think you've got to have faith in you and courage in your own convictions, and then you become unique. Then and then that's the best thing at the end of the day. So.
But then as well with like the thing, I can't put across like this. I'm quite involved on a wedding day. When I first started, I thought I was going to be one of these photographers who just like blends into the background, and I'm like, you won't see me, and I'll be just like a guest, and but I'm just not. I very quickly found out that that's not me.
That's cool though, isn't it? It's good it's good just to be yourself. I bet people love you at a wedding and being that kind of proper presence.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm sure they would tell you if they didn't.
Some nice reviews, so I think I am.
That's all good. That's all good. Is there anything that bugs you about our industry at all, apart from the complete lack of work at the moment? Other than that,
I don't know if it's like a double-edged sword, because I've had like both ends of the spectrum. Like the first wedding fair I ever went to, I went to help out Helen, the woman who mentored me. Yeah. And she was like go around and introduce yourself to some suppliers and say hi to the other photographers. And when I went and spoke to them, they were just like, they were very dismissive of me. They were quite, like, one of them was like, "Oh, you should run before you get like into it." And
really,
yeah, they were like kind of like, "Oh, another person," which I do get, like, because I know people say all the time like, "Oh, it's a saturated market," but then on the flip side, I have like all these great people who are always like willing to help me and always championing my work and stuff. So it's I would definitely say there's like a big negative community or like outlook for some on one side of photography. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if it's people. I don't know what it is. I know what you mean as well, because as you say, there's so many people who are just so friendly and so open and like not totally non-guarded with their kind of like trade secrets. Everyone just shares things, which is awesome. But then there is another kind of subsection where it's that, yeah, you're just not as welcomed, are you, really?
Yeah. So when I first started, I did feel that a bit, but luckily I had the opposite side to like bolster me up. But if I was just coming into it and that was all I was faced with, you know what I mean? I probably would have run. Been like,
Yeah.
"Don't want to do this." People aren't very nice in weddings, or
yeah, I guess a lot of people are scared, aren't they? They're scared, and I can understand it in one way as well. But it's just, you can't go through life just being scared of new people coming into the industry, because it's always going to happen. It's always going to happen.
Exactly. I'm sure I read a quote like the other day as well. It was just like, people aren't undercutting your services. Like, you're not being, you know, with regards to like people coming in cheap when they're just starting up. But your target like person at your level is not going to book them anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all interesting though, and yeah, it's all interesting. The first dance, Chelsea, is a subject that is always is something that differs from photographer to photographer. How do you approach your first dance? Do you have like a set system, or does it change for each wedding? How do you do it?
So the first dance, I'm not really a lover of the first dance, to be honest with you, Alan. I prefer the dancing, like when everybody's on and it's a bit more involved. So the first dance comes on and I just sort of assess the light. If a videographer's there and they've given me nice light, then I'm like super happy and I'll just piggyback off them. Or if it's like if everyone's watching, I try and get it so that it's like them in the crowd. But you only need like one or two nice pictures of the first dance, and then it's party time.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I can't remember those parties now. I can't remember. I know I said that earlier as well, but I really can't. You know, my last full wedding that I shot was like January the 4th last year. So I can't believe it's been over a year since I shot a full wedding. It's mental.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I had a nightmare about like my flash guns, and I was at this wedding in my nightmare, and I was like putting them on, and I just had forgotten. So I shoot on, put my f-stop right up and shoot on manual mode and drag the shutter, and I've got like a really wide angle lens on and stuff. But they're all like, so you have to set all the settings manually and set all the settings on your zoom, and I was like on your flash even. And in my dream, I was just like floundering around with all this kit, and I'd forgotten how to use it all, and everybody was dancing, and then people were like pushing past me behind me to get onto the dance floor, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like, the entire party is like going past and I'm still there just scrounging
with
away.
The flashes.
Oh, it's horrible.
Oh, that's proper nightmare, that is.
I know.
That's funny. I had one recently, a few weeks ago as well, actually, a wedding anxiety dream. When I was at the front of the ceremony, it was part way through the ceremony, and I just looked down. I just didn't have my cameras on me. So I was just standing there, supposed to be photographing it, and I didn't have any cameras. So yeah, that's up.
Like for you in your dream. So I read once that you don't dream about people, like you don't make up people in your dream. You can only dream about like faces that you've seen. So it's like people that you've passed in the street or like people you know. So when you like had that dream about a wedding, who were the couple?
Oh
Because for
yeah.
me, they were like an old couple. Like I'd already shot their wedding. So
Oh really? That's right. No, I don't remember who the couple were actually. I don't remember. Huh, mad. I don't often have kind of like nightmares like that. Have you had any real ones? Any like major mistakes or anything happen at a wedding?
not yet.
I like that. That's facing yourself.
like tapping away at my desk now because it's made a word. But, I take like, so again, the woman who told me, she had like 3 cameras because she was like, need a backup to your backup. And I'm so happy she like taught me all these things though, because I've got all my focal lengths are covered in sort of like, I don't have doubles, but obviously you have to make plans for, you know, if a camera breaks or if one of your favorite lens smashes, because I've had lenses like fall off or like cameras fall off and screen smash and stuff, but nothing that stopped me from like getting on with the job.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Good to know. Good to know. You can use that. You can use that audio excerpt on your site as well. Not made any major mistakes yet. It's funny. Yeah, I'm just thinking major mistakes I've made, and I've said before that I think I did miss the first kiss once. You know, just the camera just didn't focus. Just chose that one little time and it was one of those where you know, sometimes first kisses they can kiss for quite a bit, can't they? But it was one of those really quick ones.
Yeah.
And I missed it because the camera didn't focus. I am blaming the camera, but it threw me as well. You know, because I chimped soon afterwards, and it threw me. It did throw me.
I sort of say to people, I'm like, I can't catch everything, like, or some photos are just, I mean, they're not interesting to like us, but they're interesting to them, obviously, because it's like their wedding. But sometimes things happen, like say, maybe you'll have your first kiss, but the priest will they have this habit of like diving in the way sometimes. Yeah, or if they don't like kiss for a long time, or sometimes they'll grab the head and you'll get the back of someone's head.
That's true. Yeah. We're not superheroes, are we? We can't always get everything.
Yeah. But most people are understanding about that, to be honest with you. Most of my couples are, luckily.
Yeah, and the couples who aren't understanding with that, you don't want to be shooting for them. So good. It's always good, is that you know it's going to be a good wedding. Well, a little litmus test for me. You know it's going to be a good wedding generally when they kiss at the start of the ceremony, when they've just seen, you know, she's come down the aisle and they've just greeted each other, and then they kiss, and then you just like, for me, I always think, yes, this is going to be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look out for that from now on. To me, I always know it's a good wedding if they're like before the day, if they ask me what I want to eat.
Oh, that's that's very good.
They're nice people and they like care about me and they like want me to be involved, and I'm like, there must be just thoughtful, nice people, and for the most part that tends to be true.
That's so true.
You know,
that is so true. Isn't it? Just thinking of other people is so important. You just want the people to be kind. Like I remember earlier on in my career, very early on, getting at bridal prep, and the bride and the mom were like just shouting at each other, literally shouting at each other. I know obviously it's a stressful situation at times, but it just, you know, it just made me feel really awkward. And then conversely, then weddings that I've shot at all different price brackets, if they're just nice people, they're always just really good weddings, and they're just nice people.
Yeah, it amazes me when you get these people who are just, they're dealing with, I think it must be quite stressful to host. I'm not married, but I think it must be quite stressful to have a wedding, to be honest with you. And they still take the time to come over to ask you if you're having a good day.
Oh yeah.
And if like you're okay and you need a drink, or like they ask you if you've been fed, and I'm like, oh my God, how are you even like registering me right now?
Oh yeah, that is lovely.
It's meant to be like that, and it's awesome. I love it.
That's cool. And it's not luck that you're getting clients like that. You know, you're getting nice people, I think, because people see how nice you are on social media as well. Nice people attract nice people, I think. No, it's true though.
Flattery to get you everywhere.
No, but it's true. It's true. Chelsea. Okay, awesome. This has been so good. We've been like an hour, so I'm going to ask one final question,
Okay,
which
cool.
is going to be, well, we talked about food, so it's going to be, do you eat the canapes?
Of course.
Good.
I do think I wait till they go around. They do the round, and then you can see the waitresses looking a bit like someone's told them to go get rid of the rest of the plate.
Oh yeah.
Asking people, and everyone's sort of like had enough. So that's when I'm like, right, this is fair game.
That's good advice for that situation, though, actually. Yeah, and check for when they're being told to go around and get rid of them. Yeah, just go in there.
You can just sense it, like, because I've waitressed before, so you can see that you can tell that they're looking to get rid of what's on the plate.
That's funny. Oh, I miss the canapes as well. Actually, I do miss them.
Oh, they're so good in the Lake. Just always like little Cumberland sausages in the Lake District as well.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Chelsea, thank you so much. It's been so much fun talking to you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, really
I feel
good
like
fun.
It's just like I don't know, you can't hear it, but I'm just like smiling constantly. But I imagine you're just smiling constantly while you're like talking away as well. So
I am. It's cool. We're both smiling. We can't see each other, but we're both smiling. It's very cool. It's very cool. And if anyone's listening now, do head to thisreportage.com or thisreportagefamily.com, and I'll include that Reportage Award that Chelsea spoke about as well. And I'll link through to your website. And fingers crossed for you and everyone for this year. Hopefully I'll get to see you again this year, because we met at the TiR Christmas Party, didn't we?
Yeah, that was like, yeah.
Not the last December.
I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Gavin took me along, and it was great. And I think I just like danced with your wife.
Oh, she's cool. Yeah, she says how lovely you were as well. So that's really cool. Yeah, that was not December just gone, but the one before, because we couldn't have it last December. Obviously, I hopefully I'll be able to do it this year. I just still don't know. I guess don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, indeed.
We all need to drink.
We do, don't we? And a dance. I haven't danced, I think. Although actually, it was my daughter's 9th birthday at the weekend, and we got like a little disco ball. Only this like cheap thing on Amazon. It's like 15 quid, but it was really good. And we all had a disco, just the 4 of us at home, and it was really fun.
That sounds so good. You need like a smoke machine as well.
Oh, that would be cool.
Go full on.
That is a good idea.
There's some cool pictures as well, to be honest with you. Double down and get some machine.
Okay, well, it's my son's birthday in a couple of weeks, so maybe we'll do that. Awesome, Chelsea. Thanks so much for your time, and all the best for this year.
Thanks for having me, Alan.
No worries. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the 61st episode of the This Is Reportage podcast. Love talking to Chelsea. Hope you enjoyed listening. Head to thisisreportage.com to see the specific Reportage Award that she spoke about, and a link to her website too. We also have lots more episodes of the podcast available too, where we speak to wedding and family photographers from all over the world, including Fabio Marula, Rowena Meadows, Liam Shaw of York Place Studios, Darren Kerwin, Alison Bounce, Jill Streefland, Sam Docker, Tyler Workin, and many more too. If you're not yet a member of this reportage or this reportage family, check out all the benefits of joining us, including an unlimited number of images on your profile, 60 individual award and 18 story award entries per year, invites to our physical meetups and parties, exclusive discounts, hours of educational videos featuring tips and advice from some of the world's best photographers, and much more too. No poses, nothing staged. This is Reportage. And this is bye for now. Hey, Chase. Oh, God. I was waiting so long for that intro, for it to start working. And then Chesney or something.
Your name right.
Okay. Right. Okay. I'm going to cut that bit. So I'm going to say hello now. I don't need to stop recording. Right. Yeah. Okay. Right. Can add this as an extra bit as well. Right. Okay. Hey, Chelsea. I can't say your name. Chelsea. Chelsea, it's easy to say. It's easy.
Hi, Aylin.
Right, okay, I'm going to start again. Right, okay. Right.